なんだし。大丈夫大丈夫。
Hey everyone, it's Mark. This is my recap for Pokémon Journeys episode. Well, okay, this isn't a typical Journeys episode review. We aren't getting a new episode until July 16th, but the anime did give us a 1-hour special this week, which turned out to be a recap special. For some reason, I was awake at 5 a.m. today and decided to watch this thing live, and it was all worth it when they played the preview for the upcoming Darkrai and Cresslia arc, which confirmed Dawn's return to the anime. That's hugely exciting news, and I will be analyzing that preview trailer in full later in this video, but I figured I may as well recap the recap since I'm guessing not a lot of people watched it. The premise of this 1-hour special was that different characters were on a Zoom call, starting with Professor Cerise and his assistants. Maybe it wasn't Zoom specifically, but that's where my head immediately went to. Some real 2020 humor was used throughout this episode. Ren was having internet issues at the start, Yamper walked across Professor Cerise's keyboard at one point and exited the call on accident, and overall there was a lot of gags that were trying to be relatable to our past year and a half in lockdown. I did appreciate that this recap wasn't just episode clips, there was some original content throughout the whole thing, although unfortunately, there were no subtitles for the special, which is understandable because why would some stuffs want to sub an hour-long recap? So anyways, I may have missed some minor details and things like jokes or extra content, but I feel like I understood about 90% of what was going on in this special, so, that's enough. So the professor and his assistants talk about the Cerise Park. I really like this graph visualizing how many Pokemon of each type Go has caught, and then they transition into talking about Go's dream of catching every Pokemon, including Mew. At some points, they did just go back and use clips straight from past episodes, and at other times they got creative and had one of the characters give a little presentation, which was cool. They talk a little bit about Project Mew before we transitioned into kind of like a news report on Ash and the World Coronation series. This was my favorite part of the entire recap. They highlighted Ash's journey through the World Coronation series so far, and even went in depth into all 6 of Ash's current team members. Okay, I say all 6, but they didn't do a profile for Dragonite. Weird. Anyways, they show a highlight of each Pokemon along with a graph of their stats, which was very unique for the anime. Another thing they included in this part were the current move sets of each Pokemon, and the only one worth mentioning in my opinion is Ash's Gengar because it had Dazzling Gleam in place of Psychic. Not sure when it learned that, but okay. The second Zoom call was Krissa and Chloe, and really the main thing lost in translation for me without the subs were the opening banter at the start of each of these calls. For example, in this one, Chris and Chloe were joking around about Psyduck, which was pretty funny, but I didn't really fully understand what was going on. So they started talking about Chloe's Eevee, the only storyline going for Chloe at the minute. Thankfully, that will change when we get to that preview later. This segment ended with some more Psyduck jokes. Apparently, Krissa uses a website to play Psyduck noises to herself. Yeah, what a weirdo. Quiz time! They had 3 quiz questions throughout the special, but it was pretty much impossible for me to figure out what the first 2 were asking before they actually revealed the answer. This first one was asking which Pikachu is Ash's. The one in the top left is Team Rocket's practically Pikachu from episode 48. The top right was the Ditto from episode 19, transformed into Ash's Pikachu, and the bottom left is Go's Pikachu before it evolved. So D was the correct answer on that one, and the second Pikachu related question was asking which of these scenes did not end with Pikachu electrocuting everyone, and the answer was D once again. Personally, I think my quizzes are better, and you can check them out in the playlist currently linked in the top right of your screen. The next call was between Go and Chloe, and for some reason they started off by talking about the first 2-for-1 special, which first aired 1 year ago this week. I'd personally rather block that one out of my memory, but oh well. Go starts to talk about his Pokemon, specifically he and Cinderace's story. I think the context here was that Chloe was asking about what it was like to have Scorbunny and Raboot evolve. There was a short segment up next about Yamper. I mean, there really wasn't much to talk about here, but I just thought I'd mention it. Another thing I thought I should mention at some point was this thing they kept advertising over and over again. I think there was some kind of promotion going on for this Pokemon Mesastar game. They must have cut to an ad for this game coming in and out of every commercial break. The only time I'd ever heard about this game before was when I saw Luop's video about him playing it in person, so I'd recommend checking that one out as well as Luop's other recent videos because, well, I even make a cameo in one of them. Go talks to Professor Cerise next, and I was absolutely clueless about what they were talking about at the start here. They had a conversation about Murkrow for some reason, and in the other conversations, I could at least get the gist of what they were talking about, but this one went straight over my head, so leave a comment if you have any idea what they were talking about here. Anyways, Professor Cerise starts asking about some of the different Pokemon Go has caught before they touch on Ash in the World Coronation series again. Ash was never on any of these calls, by the way, which makes me laugh actually when you think about it, since Pokemon had perfectly clear video calls from as early as the second episode of the anime, so why are we just now struggling with Zoom over 2 decades later? Perhaps a better question would be the third and final quiz question of this special, which asked about how many Pokemon Go has registered in his Pokedex so far. I took a complete guess on this one, but somehow managed to get it right by guessing 89 different species of Pokemon. After that, we get a little bit of Professor Cerise talking to Chloe about something, I don't really know what, I think something about Chloe pursuing her dreams and whatnot, and then we cut to the credits, and that was it. Well, there is still that preview to get to, but more on that later. Okay, there's not actually a lot to review and discuss here with this preview that I haven't already said. I'm not giving it an official rating, and no bingo tiles were checked off either, but I will say that overall I did enjoy this recap. Was it necessary? Absolutely not, but it was a fun look back at Journey so far with some new content and visuals that made it worth watching in my opinion. If you missed this special, I don't think you have to go out of your way to find it and watch it, but if you are interested after hearing me break it down, then feel free to seek it out. I watched it on a Twitch stream. I don't know if the streamer wants their stuff promoted openly or not, so I'll just say that the link to it is over on my Discord server, and we can help you find a way to watch this special if you're interested. Alright, let's talk about the main event here, the preview for the upcoming Darkrai and Cresslia arc. That's right, it's not just one special episode, it's a 2-episode story coming up in a few weeks. I guess I should clarify the schedule first so we're all on the same page. July 9th, no new episode. July 16th, Phalanx and Ice-Q, and whatever nonsense is going to happen in that one. The week after that is when this summer vacation special, or whatever they're trying to call it, is going to happen. July 23rd will be the first episode, and the second part will be on July 30th. It really is exactly what we've been asking for as fans of the anime. After characters like Karina and Iris each had their returns rushed and crammed into just one episode, Dawn's return is getting 2. Not quite the length of her return in the Best Wishes series, but this arc does look pretty epic. The basic info that we got from this preview is that Chloe is going on her first ever solo adventure, I'm assuming to the Sinnoh region. There, she's going to meet Dawn, and I'll be honest, the first time I saw this part, I had to do a double take to check that this wasn't Burgundy returning too. Nice hat, Chloe. Anyways, I think most of the first episode is just going to be Chloe by herself, at least until she meets Dawn, and somehow they're going to get tangled into some mess regarding Cresslia, Darkrai, and Team Rocket. Ash and Go will eventually join them. Not sure Ash and Dawn are going to have much time to stop and catch up though, since the Matori Matrix appears to be back once again, this time trying to, well, at least I'm assuming they're trying to capture Darkrai and or Cresslia. That's probably a safe bet. The preview ended with some dramatic bit about how Darkrai and Cresslia are opposite counterparts and they're going to meet their fates, and yeah, we get it. To be honest, I'm a little disappointed that Dawn is returning to do another storyline about Darkrai. I mean, she was already in a movie about it, and there was of course that Diamond and Pearl episode where Dawn was at the center of a conflict surrounding Darkrai and Cresslia. I mean, Dawn even had a rare movie to TV show continuity detail when the lunar wing she bought in The Rise of Darkrai showed up in that DP episode. Speaking of which, I guess I can point out some other notable clips that we got throughout this preview, starting with an image of Dawn in one of her contest outfits. I mean, she's even wearing moon-shaped pieces in her outfit. Not exactly subtle, is it? Piplup will also be there, obviously. If you remember correctly, Piplup was given an Everstone back in the day because he didn't want to evolve. There were also some screenshots I saw that weren't included in the preview I watched. Apparently, some sources had an extended preview with a few extra scenes, nothing important as far as I could tell. The funniest one was this image of Professor Cerise, Krissa, and Ren dressed up as Team Rocket members. I don't know why this image exists, but it did make me laugh. So that's everything you need to know about this preview. Now let's talk predictions. Like I said before, I think most of the first episode of this arc is going to be Chloe focused, since it seems like Chloe and Dawn are going to interact for a while before everything starts going down with Darkrai, Cresslia, Team Rocket, and Ash and Go. After that, I mean, I expect it to be the same old Ash and friends help save a legendary and or mythical Pokemon from Team Rocket storyline. I don't think there will be too much more than that. It seems like Darkrai may start off antagonizing people, but the preview made me think that it will eventually come around and help fight against Team Rocket in the end. As for Dawn, I don't think anything too notable will happen with her. Maybe she'll have caught a new Pokemon or had one of her team members evolve, but I'm guessing she's still going to be pursuing her goal of becoming a top coordinator, so it will be cool to get an update on that. Lastly, is anyone going to catch Cresslia or Darkrai? Well, I think the only possible person to catch either of them would be Go, of course, course, and I'm kind of leaning towards no, he won't catch either right now. But I could see the story playing out in a way that makes sense for one of them to get caught by Go, and I'm sure that would go over so well with a certain section of the fan base. That's all I've got for this video. I was a little concerned that this 1 hour special wasn't going to give me enough content to cover, but no worries there. I hope you enjoyed my recap of the recap as well as my analysis of the preview. I am incredibly excited for the upcoming arc, especially seeing Dawn return. But let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys next time.